I want to welcome on the stage Adrian Blair from Just Eat. He will talk about the scaling globally, and Just Eat seems exactly the right name to scale globally. Just Eat, go there and just eat the rest of the world.
It's simple, and I have the sticker here just to prove it.
This banner is bigger than the thumb, so we can,
it is considerably bigger than anybody's thumb in the room.
That's good.
My favorite killer mobile stat actually is that there are now more phones bought every day than there are babies born. And if current demographic trends continue, that means that in a few hundred years' time, there will actually be no people left. There'll just be a massive pile of phones, which presents some interesting marketing opportunities, I think. So I'm Chief Operating Officer for Just Eat. So I'm responsible for most of our international operations, including Italy. We are the global leader in online takeaway food ordering. So I'm going to tell you a bit about the company and what lessons you can derive from that if you're considering global expansion and how to execute that very fast. One thing Ambassador Thorne mentioned in his talk this morning, which I thought was well put, is that he emails and he does a few things online, but he doesn't tweet, he doesn't tumble, he doesn't stumble. I think there was one or two things in there that he didn't do. But he does eat, and that's what we're all about. We're all about being a mass market product. We're not interested in serving some niche techie audience. We want to be completely mass market. If you eat, we see you as our potential customer. So let me just show you quickly what the product looks like, so that so that we're all on the same page and you know what I'm talking about. If you wouldn't mind pulling it up. This is our homepage in Italy right now, so this is a live demo. You can see a handsome trio on the right there. If you wouldn't mind just entering our zip code here, which I believe is 20123. So this is the homepage of our product. Very, very straightforward. There's only one thing you can possibly do on our homepage, so you can't really get it wrong, and that's enter your zip code. And you enter your zip code here in Milan, and you can see there are 50 restaurants that will deliver food to this zip code. And you can see down the right of the page, in case you thought that there was just a bit of pizza and pasta and whatever available, there are actually, how many is that? Like dozens of cuisine types that will deliver to this postcode. I'm sure there isn't anyone in this room who could have named 50 local restaurants that would deliver to this particular postcode. So that's really the value that we bring. We are about taking a highly fragmented market of local delivery restaurants that are not very sophisticated people. They in general, a delivery restaurant owner doesn't use the internet much, him or herself, and certainly doesn't know much about how to market themselves via the web, how to use email marketing, Facebook, how to do mobile marketing, all that kind of thing. So we have an unsophisticated bunch of suppliers when it comes to technology. They're very good at what they do, but they're not very good at using technology. And we have a bunch of consumers who really want what these people do, but lack information. So as I was saying, most people here probably couldn't name 10, let alone 50 places that would deliver to this room. So consumers lack information, and even when you do know the restaurant as a consumer, you lack information about what that restaurant has. So you might know their phone number, but you don't know what they actually have on their menu and the prices of all their food. So what I used to end up doing is if I was ordering Chinese food, I would just ask for the same boring things that I knew they would have on their menu. So I would say, a chicken chow mein, please, because every Chinese is going to have a chicken chow mein. They might have had some really interesting exotic dish that I didn't know the name of, but I would never have found out about that had I ordered over the phone. So we're serving some quite basic needs, and we see those needs as being applicable all over the world. So the three lessons that I'd like to talk briefly about, just to generalize what I think we can learn from our experience, can be summarized as courage, culture, and change. Those are like the three C's of global scaling. There are many other dimensions to it as well, including technology and making sure your technology can cope with with serving a large global audience, which is completely non-trivial. But as an organization, those are the three things which in my experience matter most. So the first of those is courage. Now, what that really comes down to is valuing your product sufficiently to see that it has global applications. So not just thinking, oh, well, you know, Italians like what we do, but I'm sure French people wouldn't be that interested. If you think that your product is serving a universal need, then it probably does have global applications. And what I thought about coming into Just Eat was one little episode a few years before. I used to work for Google for a while, and I was on a flight from Athens to Cairo, which is actually a great flight to take because you can see the Acropolis in the morning and the pyramids in the afternoon, which makes it a pretty special day. And I was on that flight, which is a beautiful journey, you know, over the Med. And I walked to the back of the plane, looking out of the window, and there was a lady looking out of the window at the back of the plane, just next to me. And she looked down at the ground and she said, "Gee," she was an American woman. She said, "Gee, it looks just like Google Earth down there." And I thought, wow, you know, here we are, thousands and thousands of miles from the headquarters of Google.
Excuse me, how old was she?
How old was she?
Yeah.
She was in her 50s, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that old or?
No, just to understand, because you know, probably my kids saw the word first on Google Maps, then on the plane.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I guess 50 years
So
old people saw on the word from the plane before the Google Maps.
Yeah. And what it showed me was just what an impact a truly great company can make on the world. You know, we're thousands of miles away from the headquarters of the organization. I'm with some random person, and yet the first thing that person thinks of is the stuff that my company was doing. And I think that sort of thing should inspire anybody whose company has a potentially global audience to actually go out and try and get it. And certainly coming into Just Eat, I just thought we've got to have the courage of our convictions and see that all the factors that make our service useful in one market are probably applicable in other places too. So we're now operating in 13 different countries around the world. So we're in most major markets in Europe. We're in Brazil. We're in Canada. So we've kind of got the US surrounded. We're not actually in the US yet. We're in India. So we're really trying to show that this concept can work in emerging markets as well. So that's courage, just having the courage of your convictions to go for it and try to succeed internationally. The second thing is about the culture of the organization. So every organization has a culture. It's not a kind of academic topic. Whatever you do, your company is going to have a culture. What you need to do if you're going to scale successfully and take it into lots of territories is you have to mold that culture consciously in a way that is going to help your global ambitions. And that's what we've done at Just Eat. We haven't left our culture to chance. We've thought carefully about it and said, what kind of company do we need to be if we're going to be able to operate at scale and succeed at scale against some very sophisticated competitors? And I'll just go through a couple of bits of our culture which I think help us to become so successful. One thing is, it's a Danish company originally. And I don't know how many of you have Danish friends, but Danish people are extremely blunt in the way that they speak. So if they think you've done something badly, they won't kind of pussyfoot around it. They'll say, "You really screwed that up, didn't you?" They'll be completely direct, which some people might not like, but I find it makes it quite easy working with people like that, because you know exactly where they stand. If they're pleased with something you did, they'll say so, and if they're not, they'll say that as well. So the first of our kind of values in our culture is that we're a frank culture. We're extremely direct and simple and honest in our communication to each other. And that's so important if you're trying to succeed across cultures, because if people don't share a primary language in common, if people don't share a culture, there's so much potential for misunderstanding, for people not quite seeing where each other are coming from. Whereas if you have that culture of being extremely straightforward and direct, then communication across the different business units becomes that much easier. Another part of it is what we call, very cleverly, hunger for success. So we like to hire people who are hungry to succeed and have a lot of energy. And the reason that matters so much is because to succeed in our business at least, and I think a lot of other companies are like this too, You have to do little things over and over again. So in the UK, we've got 10,000 delivery restaurants in our network. To sign up 10,000 delivery restaurants is a heck of a lot of work. It doesn't happen by itself. You can't do it by online marketing or mobile marketing or whatever. You need to bang on 10,000 doors and speak to 10,000 people and say, here's the pitch, are you going to be part of our service? And doing that requires immense energy and get up and go from the team out there every single day of the week. So we've got that value of hunger for success, which someone has to have if we're going to hire them, because without that, we're not going to succeed globally. And the final part of our sort of internal culture is teamwork. We insist that people put the team ahead of the individual. So if there's ever a trade-off between, oh, well, I've got to do this, or I can do this to help my team member, we say, you know, the superstars are the people who help their team member out. And again, the reason we've done that is because we don't think we can scale successfully across so many countries if people aren't thinking of each other. If people are just completely self-interested and putting their own quarterly targets first, we're not going to do a better job than our competitors in all these different markets. And what you need to do if you're global, because if you're doing something that makes sense and makes money and that people want, you're definitely going to have competition. There's no way you can have a good idea and do it for years and not have other people go out and execute on it. But the way to succeed globally is you have to make your global scale pay off, such that you're operating better in Italy by virtue of the fact that you're also operating in France and Canada and Brazil and wherever. You're learning lessons from those places and applying them in all of your markets so that you compete more effectively against the people there. So that's culture. You've got to consciously shape the culture. And the final of the three C's is change. You need to be very comfortable doing things differently in different markets. The danger in a global organization with a central HQ is that the central HQ starts trying to dictate everything to local markets. And that just doesn't work. The people in the headquarters have much worse information about what's going on in different countries around the world than the people actually on the ground in those markets. So to give you a couple of examples, we have a team in India. We bought the market leader in India, a company called Hungry Zone. We rebranded it as Just Eat. And we use these a lot in our business. So every restaurant we sign up, and hopefully you'll see a lot of these around Milan, every restaurant we sign up gets a sticker like this in their windows, so their customers know that they can order from Just Eat. And that's a great strategy. So normally, head office says, go out to your markets, put one of these on every single restaurant, measure the proportion you have stickers, and that's a very important KPI in your business. There's only one problem in India: the shops don't have glass. So it's fine saying go out and put stickers in your window, but if there aren't any windows, then that causes one or two problems. So we've had to have a completely different restaurant branding approach in India to cater for the fact that restaurants don't have glass in their windows in India. And what we're doing is we're constantly adapting and changing the way we do business in different countries by creating functional groups of staff who do similar jobs. So we've got all our sales managers, all our marketing managers will get together and talk about all the lessons that they're learning from their different markets. So we'll have a party together every year. The entire company goes to the same place and parties together and gets to know each other. And all of that is about adapting and changing what we do quickly so that we're learning lessons from one bit of the world rapidly enough to apply somewhere else. And so far, that strategy is paying off. Our international business is growing very, very quickly at the moment. In fact, some of the most far-flung places around the world are our fastest growing markets as well. So right now, the concept is really working, and I encourage you all to go home tonight and try it out. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Adrian. Very inspiring. Any question from the floor? Oh, I think I have to do the job. Oh, ok. Fatti vedere meglio. Mike is coming. Nice mic.
Your market is really huge and broad, and especially your customers. So how do you actually, when knocking on every single door to get adoption, I mean, what kind of forces you need to deploy in the field to do such a thing?
Do you mean like how many people do you need?
Yeah.
You need hundreds. We've got, globally, we've got probably 700 people now. So there isn't a quick way to do it. You just need your troops on the ground, and you need to inspire and motivate them. They need to be paid so that the more they sell, the more money they make. But there's no quick way of doing it. You've just got to get out and energetically hit the streets.
And you give also a device to the shop where you can like order by online, and then the shop, the restaurant gets the order and then will fulfill, or
yeah. So typically the way we work is we have a box in the restaurant which has a GPRS SIM card in it, and about 3 seconds after the user places their order on their web browser, the box physically prints out a piece of paper with the details of that user's order on it, and the restaurant just tears the piece of paper off and makes the food and delivers it to the address that's on the piece of paper. So it's actually it's an important requirement for us to be able to scale into so many countries, because we can't, if we just thought about what would work in one European market, we might have had some clever web-based solution or whatever. But we realized that if we were going to make this work all over the place, we could only rely on the restaurant having electricity and the ability to read, and no other requirements whatsoever. So these boxes, they plug them into the wall, and that's it. They plug them into the power socket. They don't need any kind of web connection or anything. It's very simple.
Nick.
Hi. So you built a marketplace, which is one of the most difficult things to do online.
Yeah.
There's often this chicken and egg problem.
Yeah.
Which side to take first? I guess you took first the restaurant part.
Yeah, yeah.
So my question was not about scaling, but the initial traction. How did you convince the first, 100 or thousands restaurants to get on your platform?
Yeah.
And on the other side, how did you get the users to go there when there were such a small number of restaurants?
Well, my personal solution to that was to join the company when we were already the market leader, and then it makes it very simple. But of course, we face that problem when we go into new markets. So we're still quite young in Italy, so we're still kind of in that phase in Italy at the moment of trying to get over that initial problem where you have supply but not enough demand, and you have to keep generating. I think that there isn't a quick, easy solution. I think that my advice would be to focus on supply first. Of course, there's no point in doing a massive marketing campaign if there's nobody to buy from. And if you are going to do marketing in the early phases, then of course make it targeted marketing so that you're not wasting money. Like, for example, in Italy at the moment, we could, if we wanted to, do some kind of nationwide press campaign to publicize Just Eat. But our restaurants are concentrated in Milan and Rome, so we'd be wasting a huge amount of money if we did something like that. So of course we're targeting our promotions on the cities and the areas within the cities where we actually have supply. I think that's my advice.
Thanks.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thanks.